Good morning. Good morning. Sorry for the delay. I had to do my last check on the girls and make sure they're okay. Grand Rising to Psalm 146. Wagwan. Am I right? Medea, Medea. Grand Rising to Bouger. LP. Hey, Jocelyn. Good to see you. Yes, it's a good morning. Great morning. I'm just going to get my coffee. Just finished pouring in the cup. Let me just go get it. Good morning to you, Howie. Good to see you. You're picking berries. Oh, foraging. Yep. Good to see you all. Give me 1 second to pour my coffee. And I'll be right back. And then we'll start with the jibber jabbers. Yeah, the girls, they don't lay on demand. So I'm waiting for 2 eggs still. They're on strike, I think. Hold on. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. This chair's a little. Okay. Hey, good morning to you, Keisha. And hey, Miss Renaissance Grandma. Oh, you at the flea market. Hey, Shin Moss Farm. Good to see you. Yep, the jibber jabbers. And I think that's everybody so far, but let people come in. I need to get my thumbnails up earlier. It's really, really just getting out of hand with it. So let me get back in hand and at least do them the day before, not 20 minutes before, running around scrambling and trying to get everything done. But it's a good morning. I let the girls out there in their run now, so I have to make sure everything's secure. I let mine out at 9 o'clock just because I feel any nighttime predators are usually gone by 9, from what I've seen. Grand Rising, David Corey. So I just let them out at 9 just because of my area, and I don't have any concern about any. If there's an animal after 9, then that's well beyond my control. So I let them out at that time, make sure they're okay, and that's what happened. So I have 4 eggs this morning. I don't have all 6, so I don't know. The other 2 may go a little later. Um, I like to collect the eggs in the morning because they were breaking them, but some of them could have been calcium issues. But I think that's been resolved. And I was there yesterday. I didn't watch them lay, but they happened to lay. They sit down for like 20 minutes, like Al Bundy. Hey, Gina, and then when they're ready to leave, they stand up, and that's when the egg just drops out and boom, conks on the nesting pad. The one that box that they like to lay in does not have a pad. It has a piece of cardboard and some pine shavings. And the pine shavings they keep pushing out, and then they keep leading to the other nest box with the padding and picking the. Hey, broke farmer. Good morning. Picking what they could reach and putting it like I had to have a meeting with them again with HR. If you like the nesting pad on that box, then go use that box. I was testing out the nesting pad to see if they like it, and they seem to like it. So, yeah, they had I had another staff meeting with them, and they're doing the thing. Hey, Misty, good morning to you. And that's that. So I can see why the eggs are breaking. I don't think they weren't breaking the eggs. I know that for sure. I thought maybe when they're fighting to get into the nesting box, which is still going on, but I think when they actually laid and it hit the cardboard area, it's not soft enough. And if you have a weak egg, yeah. So that seems to be under control. But how's everybody doing this morning? I'm gonna drop the link from now before I forget, and then I'll talk about a few bits and bobs. I might change the title because I was I don't even know where I'm gonna go, which is not the first time, but we'll see. Okay, and if you want to see the weather, you can type in weather, your city, state, city, province, whatever, and it'll drop the weather. Or you want to see what's going on in another area. If you want to drop your link, it's hashtag urban. It should be set to subscriber mode only to keep the trolls out. If you see anything, let me know. I don't see any mods here as of yet. I might need to add some more mods. You can use a milk crate. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong. Hey, G Mama. Oh, so there's a mod here. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, because I think that's where some of the eggs were breaking. But I know which one is having the calcium problem. One of the red sex links, they're having the problem, which seems to be resolved. And it's a fine line because it could be too much calcium or not enough calcium, or their body's not processing the calcium properly, because I'm not adding it to the food. I'm adding it to a separate dish so they can take what they need. So, and then the bullying, you know how those have chickens, it's just ridiculous. Sometimes they can't get to what they need to because they're being bullied. Mean girls with feathers. Okay. So the link is there. You can pop up, or you have something that was in the news that you saw, you can share it. Let me find the one thing that caught my eye, which I think was on Instagram. So let me go to my Instagram and see what I saved randomly in no particular order. I need to know how to use Instagram properly. That's my okay. So turn the volume down. There was an article that came up. What did I do? If I misquote something, forgive me. But basically, they're saying that there is, hey, pal, good to see you. And did I miss anybody? DNC Gardening Experiments, good to see you. Good morning. I see somebody saying hi to Unbiased. Hey, Unbiased. Oh, there you are. Good to see you. And I think we got everybody. Okay. There was a story about that's probably not Instagram. Let me check my email. In Texas, the beaches have been having high levels of fecal matter the last few weeks and months. I don't know. Let me check one of my email accounts. I think I either email it. No. I know what I did. This is the problem. You can't keep track of what you're doing. I screenshotted it. Okay, so yeah, so it says on the screenshot on ABC Houston that came on my feed. You may want to think twice before going for a dip. 8 beaches across the state, including 2 in Galveston, reported unsafe levels of fecal bacteria more than 25% of days they were tested. So more than 25% of the time they had unsafe level. So first of all, who makes the level safe? And can somebody explain to me why there's so much fecal matter? So, exactly. David. Okay, you're in the bushes, Miss Shirley. No problem. Good to see you. Can somebody explain to me why there's now I could understand people taking a pee in the ocean. Um yeah, but the number 2, something doesn't make sense. I don't think people are sitting there, even if you have a baby in a diaper, let's say. I don't think people are sitting in the ocean going, and then so something is not being done properly with the sanitation or the toilets, or maybe like the cruise ships, I'm not saying for sure, the toilets that are at the beaches, they're just dumping the raw sewage into the water, which is what cruise ships do, right? They just dump the raw sewage into the water. That's very concerning because I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but when you're going swimming and you're going under the water and your eyes, your nose, your mouth is all under the water, even if you're not drinking it, it's getting, around those areas, your mucous membranes. That's disgusting. So if you're going to the beach in any of those areas in Texas, it says here 8 beaches across the state of Texas. That's only the ones that they've said. Maybe there's other beaches. I don't know. Maybe other states have the same problem. Who is testing the water? Whose responsibility is that? So some of y'all who like to go to the beach, maybe you're gonna have to start checking that out, because that is disgusting. Disgusting. And thanks to Mama. Yes, put some pressure on the like button. That's disgusting to me. So be careful. And people are wondering why they're getting sick. That's probably why they're getting sick. You're going to the beach, and salt water is very cleansing water. So for you to be getting high levels of fecal matter, that tells you you're dumping. It's not a few people taking a dump. To me, that's a sewage problem. And I'm having a sewage problem right now in Niagara, and something wasn't connected properly and all kind of problems. So the amount of let me see what Howie's saying, because I see something about microbes. Uh-oh. Fecal matter is food for microbes and is a layer in nature so as to make inert microbes do the job. That way it can hurt mammals. But should it be so much in the ocean, in the water? To me, that sounds like they're not handling the sewage properly. I don't think you're supposed to. I've never been approved of dumping raw sewage into the ocean. The cruise ship should be doing some kind of filtration, and there's a lot of technology out there. There's a lot of natural ways to go through plants and fish and whatever they can do before they just dump it into the ocean. But putting it into the ocean, and that's probably what's happening at the beaches. They're not using compost toilets or something to kind of filter that out first, and now that's gonna get people sick, especially people who are immunocompromised. Nothing is safe. Exactly. Keep your mouth closed when you go swimming. Mind you should keep your mouth closed when you're having a shower too, because that city water ain't no better. Trust and believe, guys. That city water ain't no better. We just think it's better because it smells like bleach, but it's not. Same thing here in Alabama. Oh, hey, BNC, did I miss you? I think I missed you. No, I didn't. I think I did say hi to you. Sorry, I'm confused. Alabama, same thing. And yeah, no, not in. Okay, not in water. Okay, I see what you're saying, Howie. That's disgusting. And this is what's happening in our first world nations. The nastiness. There's some lakes over here I've never swam in because they were polluted by the time I was born. They were polluted. My parents got to go there. We have pictures of them and they're in the water. But sounds like someone just keep up to date on what's happening and just be conscientious, because it's all organic matter technically, so it's not completely bad. It's not completely bad when it's being processed through nature the proper way, but when you're just putting it into some water and you and your family are swimming and your dog and your cat are just swimming and they're having a good old time, and then you wonder why you're getting sick. That's why. And having your mouth open and it going to your mouth, that's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. I really don't get it. Developing nations don't do this foolishness, but you come to the first world and this is the foolishness that they're doing. You don't put raw sewage in the water. It's supposed to go through the earth and go through, as Howie said, like the microbes, the worms, the this, the that. It goes through a process. By the time it gets down to the bottom, to the water table, it's been purified and clean. Nowhere in nature do I see some animals do some foolishness, fine. But as a species, animals putting their waste in the water. They usually bury it under the ground. Cats, like, it's kind of common sense, but we do some stuff makes no sense. But just be careful, guys, because hey, Sassy, good morning to you. Some people might be getting sick, and it may not bother you, but some people have immunocompromised things. They get sick easily. Maybe they're in the water longer than you were. And yeah, bird droppings and all manure belong on land where humans are not. Metals and toxins are pulled before it goes to the land. I think that's what's supposed to happen. I agree with you. I've seen with my own eyes, let it out of the sewage. Yeah, they let it out. They let out the raw sewage. You can't keep doing those kind of things and not think you're going to have repercussions. And we're having repercussions now. So if you are finding yourself getting sick, and if you go to the beach free, I love the beach. If I was living near a beach, I would be there all the time. Morning walks, whatever, getting just sitting down and enjoying the view. I would be there all the time. So that would be something that would affect me. Good morning, GT. Oh, you made it earlier today. Okay, I hope you're still in bed chilling though. Don't get up on my account. Um, did I miss something? Should have always been happening. Why now? I think because they're dumping. I think because they're maybe they were filtering the sewage before, but obviously that something has changed, or it was always happening. People were getting sick. You just didn't know it was linked to the beach, and now they're just disclosing it. But no, it's not new. They've been dumping raw sewage for a while. But you need to be conscientious. Good morning, Bushcrafter. Um, because some people, some of us like the water. We like to be in the salt water, and that's just disgusting. Your own beaches are disgusting. That's concerning. And then they talk about, which I find so hypocritical. It's irritating. Climate change, this, that, and the third. And we have to stop doing this and stop doing that to help the climate. But you are the ones that are destroying the climate with these practices. You're not filtering sewage properly, not handling sewage properly. You're giving us sewage water to drink and shower with, but then we're doing the problem with the climate change. I don't know. Make it make sense. They're making all the problems, but they're making us make all the changes. Yeah. Mm. Algae blooms are bad for mammals. Green and blue algae blooms. Low oxygen is bad for life. Yes, that's makes it anaerobic, I think, right? I'm learning a lot. Hey, Big Rooster, good morning to you. Making you how early it is over there in California? Never mind. You and GT are up early. Making change now may save the earth. Yes, if we make some changes. Another reason not to swim. I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm gonna have to go to the ocean, pour a bottle of bleach in there. That will make me feel better psychologically, and then swim, and then come out and hope that the bleach. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what are we gonna do? Oh, thank you, Miss Unbiased. If you didn't go to Big Roosters last night, it was a special roasting of Baps, the character Baps. So we had to roast Baps, and his wig was just rung through the gutter, the ghetto, the civil rights movement. That wig was all over the place. His wig. Between me and hands in the dirt, but it was a good old time. If you weren't there yesterday, check it out. I think it's called Freestyle Fridays at 8. I think it's 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time. The Big Rooster Show. And make sure you check out Baps on, I believe it's going to be Monday at Neckbone News on Tori's Brain. Check him out as well there. They do like, it reminds me of Carol Burnett. If you guys remember, Carol Burnett had a show with a comedy and skits and improv, but we're doing our own version of it with Tori and Big Rooster and other characters that come on. Check it out. Have some fun, have some laughs, especially if you're just, haven't been out in a while. You can just put on the TV and you put out your popcorn and you're right there. What did you miss? Hold on. Okay. But this happened back in the 90s in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Raw sewage goes into Lake Michigan and the water intake pipe was very close to it. Yeah. So just be conscientious. This is not new, but it's in the news. And sometimes you forget and you think it's safe and it's not. It's 6:30 over here. Okay. I'm up at 6:30 Eastern time because I got to go check on my chickens. This is the side thing of having chickens. They get up with the sun. You got to get up. Well, I don't have to. I got up a little later, but I was listening through the window to hear them making noise. If they were quiet, that was fine. If not, I went out, got them their food. I don't leave the food out all night, only a little crumb, just enough to keep them from carrying on. I don't want no vermin. I heard something chewing in the house the other day. Oh my God, it was horrendous. Sidebar, that was horrendous. I literally did not sleep for 2 days. I was ready to move out. I was ready to pack my bags and move out. I cannot live with vermin. And it sounded so loud. I went out the next day and I put so much poison down. I poisoned the perimeter of the house. house, the veranda. I put poison all over the place, but not near the coop though. Poison, poison. I sprayed all kind of sprays. I haven't heard them come back. I have all the food now hidden again. I'm gonna put the food in totes again in the garage. I don't leave a lot of food in my cupboards unless it's in a can or something or a glass jar. I don't leave anything that they can chew through. They can chew through a box, a plastic they have razor sharp teeth, these rodents. So I don't leave nothing that they can chew through. I remember seeing the carton of the hot chocolate mix with a hole in there. Then I don't get how they anyways, don't get me started with rats. They're so disgusting. They doo-doo in the food that they're eating. I guess the same thing with this water problem. But anyways, I digress. So I haven't heard the mouse come back. So there's poison all over the place. Black Soil Urban Homestead. Good to see you, sister. Good to see you. The water smells bad coming out of the faucets, Mississippi. Mississippi, I know because I know about Jackson, Mississippi. So I know about what was going on there. California on the beach of Alabama, on the Gulf Beach of Alabama, we've had some bad experiences. Mississippi water smells bad. I don't trust the water. I haven't trusted the water in a long time, and I always talk about that periodically. So at the minimum, you have to boil your water because there's some E. coli's and all kind of stuff in the water. And you have to kill it first. Otherwise, your body is the filtration. Hey, Canadian, good to see you this morning. Okay, you're going shopping. All right, take care. I don't trust the water. You need to make sure you have some kind of filtration on top of boiling. I have a shower filter because I had a bad experience last summer of 2022 that I paid for over 6 months. Something just flared up on my skin. It was like eczema all over the place. It could have been food related. I'm not sure what triggered it, but I'm saying food because I had guests here for 6 weeks. I host international students, so I had 3 weeks with 2 guests, then another 3 weeks with another 2 guests, and I was eating some foolishness that 6 weeks, and maybe that triggered eczema, and then the shower, the water was burning my skin like fire. So I had to invest in a shower filter. So some of you may have to do that because the water is just that nasty, and your skin is just absorbing the chemicals, the bad bacteria, the fecal matter, the bleach, the this, the that. Disgusting. Oh, Big Reach is always up at 4. Yeah, I get up early. I think you can get a lot more done and more clarity in the morning, but I was not a morning person. I became one. Bab told me I ain't telling nobody, but he gets his wigs from Chronicles. Oh no, sir. No, sir. Him wear synthetic wig. I have human hair. No star. I'm gonna spend $20 on the wig, like PIA said. That we created here. And with all those rollers in his hair, he ain't got one curl to show for nothing yet. So that wig, But we ain't heard it from you though, right? Oh no. Let me see what else is being said here. Hold on. I don't know how you get that big word. Some I have big words. It's caused a big cryptosporidium outbreak that took out a lot of people that were immunocompromised, and others just got diarrhea. They ended up moving the intake pipe further out afterwards. That was a problem here as well. If you ever heard of, is it Walkerton? I think it's a town here, a small town called Walkerton, if I'm not mistaken. And they had an E. coli problem with the water. I believe the city or some kind of entity knew about it and didn't really warn the people in time. Then they put them on a boil water advisory. But a lot of elderly people live in that community, and the diarrhea and all that stuff is deadly to older people because you're not absorbing any nutrients, you're sick, you're weak, and that was a problem. So it's not, even if you don't get other serious issues, diarrhea is a serious enough issues for certain people, and that's not something that you can take lightly. A lot of elderly people, even in the islands, have died from diarrhea because the water, you have to boil at the very least. You have to boil your water. Even the water that you're going to use for hygiene, like cooking or whatever. Boil, have a big pot, boil it at night. That's what we do, and then we pour it in a jug, and that's boiled water. We don't play around with. We boil our water, and most of us have some kind of water filters, depending on your affordability. Some people can afford, the high end stuff. Some cannot. We still boil the water. We boil it before we even purify it, or vice versa. We purify it, then we boil it. You can't mess around with that. Earthlings stopped dumping sewage in Harrow Strait from the city I live near. 2 years now without sewage, and we eat the clams, seaweed, and oysters as we could not. Okay, people. I was thinking this morning because I was thinking. Funny enough, Bougie Prepper came to my mind because I know from the beginning she was saying, "What food shortage? There is no food shortage. There's lots of food." And she's right. Sometimes people take things so literally in terms of, well, there's a food shortage. Some of the stuff is definitely doctored, and it's definitely created. And when you take a step back and start looking, it's definitely created. If you're polluting the water, then how can people eat the food that's the seafood? If you're polluting the soil, how can we eat the food that's in the grocery stores? But then they're saying that all of the problems regarding this is revolving around growing and raising meat. Really? Did meat pollute the soil? Did meat pollute the oceans? No, that's big industry. It has nothing, not that has nothing to do, but they're over exaggerating certain points, inflaming them in the media, and we're walking around just eating it and believing it. The food shortage that's coming or is here is inflationary. The prices are so expensive that it's ridiculous. And if the price remains the same, they cut the amounts in half. Hey, good morning, Drunken Chef. I hope you got your situation taken care of with the videos with YT. Um oh yeah. Bap got a better wig and a handful of hoes to the toe. I don't know. Bap got a something ass with, yeah. If you haven't checked Unbiased the survey, please check the survey out and vote yay or nay for the wig. But this food shortage that they're talking about is it's so manufactured, but some of the stuff that's happening, we're not linking it to the food shortage. So Howie, which is food permaculture, um, I think I called the name wrong. Food forest permaculture. They couldn't eat the clams and all the different stuff because of the pollution. Did that have anything to do with raising animals? No, but they're making everything about eating meat, and that's the problem. We all need to be vegans. No, I think we need to actually focus on the actual problems of what's polluting the environment and affecting our food. That's the problem. Um, that's a problem. Let me scroll down. I'm gonna skip some. I'm just trying to skip through. All right, take care, Howie. You'll check back and see if you food forest permaculture. That's the right name. Hey, bless ups to you, juicing with Jay. I'm scrolling down. Stay out the doo doo. Oh hey, Odams, I didn't even see you. I was clicking on something else, and then okay, there you are. At work, tell them people. I'm telling you, the water. This ain't no joke. This thing is disgusting. I'm just scrolling down to make sure I catch up before I go to the next. Yeah, Walkerton. Okay, thank you. Well, if you guys look up Walkerton, is a town in Canada, and from that point, I think a lot of people have mistrusted the water over here in Ontario. We always mistrusted because we're Caribbean, and we were always told you boil the water. I used to. Hey, good morning, D Mood. I used to drink. We used to drink tap water, but back in the day when I was coming up, the water didn't taste like how it tasted now. And I think all of you can kind of notice that the water doesn't taste. When I open the pipe right now, since 2020 to now, the only thing you can smell is bleach. And the bleach in 2023 is a lot stronger. Even my family members who don't have as strong of a sense, well, they have a strong sense of smell, but mine is extra. It's like, super strength. I can smell things before other people can smell them. They can now smell that it just smells like bleach. We literally have to put the water in a pot or something, let the bleach evaporate. Then, like, there's all these steps involved in just using the tap water. Never mind all the waste and medicines in the water. Somehow we got on water. But anyways, that was the first article. There's another thing I saw on Instagram on somebody else's feed. Let me just scroll down. Right. There's not, I agree with you, David, not in a literal sense, but they're going to make it shortage in terms of who's going to get access. Is that really a shortage? Kind of, sort of, maybe. But it's not like there's no food. Shortage doesn't mean there's not going to be any food. It means that you're not going to get access to the food. And what I saw somebody mention, which I do see some truth in it, is that even if there's ample food to eat, which is probably what's going to end up happening, and people are not going to believe that there's really a food shortage, the nutritional value in the food that you're getting is getting worse and worse over time. So even though you're eating food and you're satiated, you're not feeling hungry per se, you're not getting any nutrients and you're actually malnourished. You're no different than the people starving in other countries and that have, their bones popping out. You are actually, most Americans, even Canadians, even though there's a high obesity rate, those people are actually malnourished. If you start analyzing and taking a stock, they're eating all this food and empty calories and empty this, empty that, and they're full and they're fat, but they're not healthy and they have no nutrients. Exactly, Brooke. It's a shortage of healthy food. That's exactly what's happening. And I was in a few chats this week, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm not bad mouthing anybody. I'm just saying I was doing the same thing. I was storing up canned food from for hard times. And the one thing I never liked about the Caribbean is that a lot of the food is canned, like Vienna sausages and all these things are canned. And I didn't like having to depend on canned food. And some of my people in my family can't eat it. There's something in the can or the tin that they're allergic to. They have to eat more fresh food. I don't care how bad things get. I cannot eat canned food. I cannot. It's not good for my health. The sodium, if you think things are bad now, it will just get worse. And then you're living in SHTF and you're feeling like a big blob of SHTF. That's not going to work. I cannot rely on canned food. And a lot of people keep saying, well, if you're hungry enough, that may be the case. If I'm hungry enough, I'm going to eat it. I don't have any choice, but I'm not going to make that as my storehouse for hard times. I have to take the time to find products that I can store that are going to be better for my health. I cannot eat that stuff. I'm telling you right now. That's something you eat once a week or every 2 weeks. I cannot eat all that sodium. And I'm not going to have any health care, any hospital care, any doctors, and I'm eating all that crap. I don't agree with what we're portraying. We're going to have to take the time and promote some healthier something. That's why people are canning their own food, but I can't eat that. I'm telling you right now, I can't eat it. Created food shortages to usher in exactly $3 billion. That's exactly what's happening. So many of us didn't see what was happening. We saw something happening for the last 3-4 years, but now it's being pieced together more clearly. Some people saw it from before. Maybe they have different information or access, or just they're clairvoyant. I didn't see it until now, what the connection is. So there's not going to be a shortage. It's going to be healthy food. The mail call live we did is removed for good, but we are back up and running. That was very strange, Drunken Chef. I don't know why that would have been a flag. That's weird. Weird. As long as I can use electricity, there will always be a garden. It's cold here. David, you have good weather down there, man. Yeah. That's exactly the concern I'm having now, because I'm thinking, okay, if the power goes out, I can grow spring, summer, fall, no problem. Even early spring, I can germinate stuff outside. No problem. but I do rely on electricity to start my ceilings indoors. Worst comes to worst, I can get a solar generator power bank and use that with the panels, but I don't have them yet. So that's exactly what I'm thinking about lately, GT as well, because we have to be self-sufficient. Um, and a lot of what we're getting, let me see what Virginia. Oh, definitely, it's intentional. All this plant burning, cows burning, farmers have to throw milk away. Yep, buying up farmland, no baby food. I think it's all about, for sure, definitely. It's definitely that is the master plan. But how are we playing into it? Some of us, not all of us, are really playing into it. I was at Costco yesterday shopping, and I got mostly fruit, mostly healthy stuff. I'm just thinking right now in my mind. I bought a bag of chips, but like one thing out of a whole bunch. My bill was $150 plus the thing of water. So about $154. And I bought mostly fruits and healthy stuff. I bought a bag of chips, but everything else was like top alkaline style food. I bought some grain salad, I bought some couscous, like nice natural, maybe a few bits and bobs in there in the ingredients that shouldn't be in there, but for the most part, it was very, very clean. I decided now to go eat something at the food court because I was hungry. Big mistake. I went there hungry. And then the person I'm with is so mean. They don't want to stand for the samples and wait for the samples. So I told her she was mean. And they were cooking stuff and she was like, no, we're going to keep going. Anyways, so I didn't get the samples because if I had the samples, I wouldn't have been hungry. So I was eating, fish and chicken and chips. And this lady came sit next to me. She looked Caribbean, and when she came and sat down, she's Caribbean. She said, "Do you mind if I sit here?" Because she was waiting for her son. I said, "Sure." So we're talking. Funny enough, God always orchestrates everything. So she was talking about how she had all these health problems. She's feeling bad, and even now she's feeling a bit odd. And I said to her, "It's the food. I'm telling you, the food that we eat is not what it used to be." And she said that she had healed her. Well, I wouldn't use that word. She reversed a lot of chronic illnesses, and she had a terminal illness, and the doctor said she had no chance and gave her how many months, and that was 6 years ago. And she made some significant changes, and she believes in the herbs. And she was talking about, you know, how she reversed a lot of things. And her child is probably maybe 11-ish, no more than 11. So that was 6 years ago. Then her child was like a young toddler, and she's still here for him. And we're just talking a bit, chit chatting. And she was like, "Wow, like I'm glad that I sat here," because she's like, I go, "Yeah, I believe in the food and the herbs. We did the herb garden challenge. I'm growing my own herbs. I'm making my own tea and my tincture." She was like, "Oh my goodness, we're just talking for maybe 15 minutes." But when someone's just like on your same frequency, it's like you talk for 10 minutes, but it felt like a whole year of just like, because it's so fast, it's so deep. So she's doing the same thing. I said to her, "Keep growing your food, keep doing the thing." She is connected to a farm, and they farm their own food, and they get their own stuff and their own produce. That's what she's doing because she can't do it on her where she lives. People are waking up and are on this wavelength. They're, as G Mama says, heal thyself, and they're figuring out they have to do it themselves because the doctors ain't telling you diddly squat. They're just prescribing stuff. Then when you heal yourself or reverse the sickness or whatever they call it, they, "Oh, what did you do? You went to school for this. You're an expert in all, and you're asking me?" Like, really? Then when we left the store, I usually buy collagen powder and I use that in my coffee and I use in my smoothies. So I usually buy a 1 kilogram tub at Costco, and it's usually like $50, 55. If it's on sale, you can get it for like 40 or 35. So when I looked at the tub, they cut the tub in half. So it's not 1 kg anymore. It's like 500 grams. And the price is still the same. So this is what's happening. They're making it, which we saw already for since 2020, really expensive because now you're getting half the product for the same amount of money. And I don't know the logic behind it. Like, what's their reasoning for saying, okay, it costs more to make this product? I don't know. Maybe it is costing them more because it's from grass-fed cows, and we already know what's going on over there with the cows. Yep, the food quality is bad. The food quality is bad. Canned food tastes like a box. Yep. I cannot eat that. And if we're expecting to go through SHTF and all you're relying on is canned food, then you're sadly mistaken. So some people, I don't know if they're not connecting all the dots, and we all connect things at our own pace. So it's not a bashing, but you have to have canned food. Yes, you have to have access somehow, some way to fresh food. That's why some people are guerrilla gardening. They're dropping seeds in random places in parks and in areas that are hidden with trees and shrubs underneath bushes. They're planting sweet potatoes, slips in areas, and it looks like just part of the foliage, but they know when they can go around, they can get food. And it doesn't matter if you're in a cold climate or not. You can sneak food and grow food in hidden places. Rise the canned goods, and hopefully it will not hurt. Rinse. Oh, I think rinse. Yeah, it that helps, but not for me. I cannot. I can do it. Like I've done it, but if you're talking about long term eating, like things go really bad and you're relying on this for months, this canned food, and then rinsing the can. That's if we have clean water. So I'm thinking of the worst. So I need to have canned food that is either no sodium or that I did myself or that has, Celtic salt, sea salt, maybe even black salt. I control the ingredients. So that's why I'm canning some of my own food. Yes, I do can. I'm not like I don't have a lot, but when it comes to tomatoes, yes. I did purchase the pressure canner, which I have not tested yet. And I'm watching TT's Urban Pantry and Gina versus Gina and them when they're canning. And I'm going to test that canner this week, come hell or high water, so that I know that the gauge works. And I'm going to be canning some of the stuff that I'm growing. And if I only can 3 cans of okra, then that's what it is. If that's all I have on the plants, then or I'll mix it with the beans or something. I'm canning my stuff. I can't freeze everything. The freezer is full and over full. So I'm not going to be relying on that. And I don't have a freeze dryer. I have a dehydrator, yes, but I do not have that is very expensive. And right now that's not on my list. So I will be canning as much as I can. Um, I will be canning even some rice because I know that Homestead Heart has some rice that she's canned so that if something goes left, there's no power. It's already cooked. You just have to warm it up outside on a side burner or a barbecue or whatever. So that's what I'm working on. What I can do right now with what I have. So I will not be freeze drying. Not because it's not good, because the money. The money is that's hefty. Hey, Miss Ellen Pankey. I'm just scrolling down. It's about control, yes. Snacks, yeah, dried fruit. But then again, if you're diabetic, you can't have dried fruit. Just be conscientious. You can't survive on canned goods. Like that's you can survive, but your health will decline. And the whole point is to keep your health top grade. Keep your blood pressure down, your sugar down, keep your inflammation down. You can't be going through SHTF and then you're just like having all these health problems. You're trying to keep out of hospitals and doctors' offices and off of medication. So you're going to have to start incorporating a way to have fresh produce. And it may be growing squash in the summertime and it's in a cold room all winter, whatever. Maybe you're going to get sick of squash, but at least it's fresh, it's living, it has enzymes. You can't be eating dead food, even if you're eating healthy food, cooked food, all this cooked food. In my opinion, you need to be having raw food as well. Let me see what Miss D is saying. Venezuela's food shortage are eye opening. I think it's eye opening. They're selling buying rotten food, no food versus garbage. And I did a project on Venezuela way back, and I became interested in Venezuela. And I was just following them along when Chavez was in power, and then he extended his. I don't know, it was crazy. You know, You guys need to watch Venezuela. That's a very interesting country, and it's a lot to learn from watching them. But they're selling rotten food. And even in the stores here, the clearance, I always go to the clearance rack first because generally you can get things that are in very good condition that you can use right now for like the same day for juicing or the same day for cooking. I've bought, I still buy clearance meat. I see, you go to the store, it's going to expire in a few days. I buy it, go home straight away, clean it, season it, either cook it or season it and freeze it till I'm ready for it. People, oh, that's not right. You're going to get sick. Well, I don't think I got sick. I clean the meat and I season it up and then I freeze it. You have to remember when you buy meat at the store that's already seasoned, that's old expired meat, eh? They just change the date and season it up so you can't smell the rankness off the meat. Or they paint it. And I know somebody because it's on Instagram. They do that at the expensive store, that very expensive store that we sometimes talk about. They they do it there. They don't throw out food. They just repurpose it somehow, season it up, and say, "Oh, ready seasoned chops. You can go home and cook it now." That meat's been there for weeks. That's because some of the doctors are in cahoots with the pharmaceutical industry. For sure, they're in cahoots, and they're actually ignorant. They don't learn nutrition in medical school. They don't. They do not learn it. It's not part of the curriculum. Now it's becoming part of the curriculum. They only learn about pharmaceuticals. It's the doctors that have other beliefs, are part of other cultures that have knowledge of this stuff. And some of them are licensed in both naturopathic and standard medical doctor. Your body is self healer if treated exactly, if treated right. Hey, good morning, Tori's brain. Doctors don't study medicine anymore. They study, yeah, they study. And when they do study, they're studying symptoms. They don't study root causes and diagnoses. And we're going to people, and somebody was talking, I think it was I can't remember who it was, somebody on YouTube, I can't remember who it was now because you watch so many videos. But the medical symbol, I'm just pulling it up now. I believe it's a snake around or a serpent around yeah, a serpent with wings and something. And what does it represent? So the symbol of modern medicine is a stick entwined by two snakes and surmounted wings. I didn't study what that symbolizes really, but that don't really sound that symbolic of healing and wellness. Aren't snakes notorious for poison? Like sometimes the very symbols of things we don't take a stock. That's not a symbol of healing. That's something else. I'll leave you to that part, but that's not healing. Most doctors only know the chemical substances that require additional chemicals to work, never mind the allergies. Yes. And a lot of that stuff, hold on. Let me see what Miss Ellen Pankey. She's having some green collards with smoked turkey neck and scratch cornbread. Mm-hmm. She's showing off over there. Yeah, no, I got it unbiased. I know you meant, I know this autocorrect and this phone thing type some foolishness. Um so that to me is not symbolic of healing and medicine. So we need to realize you're going to these people to help you, but the very symbol that they stand under is not healing. Snakes snake bites can be used for healing. I understand there's some aspect, but in general, that symbol to me does not symbolize health and wellness. Yeah. D-Mood saying save your seeds for sure. Not noticing some of the seeds in the stores have weird labels on the package. Yes, I am making sure that's a lot of what I planted this year is not even for food. This year is for seed to harvest the seeds. So if I don't get a lot of harvest, I'm okay with that because I'm trying to get things that I've never planted before. Some of y'all have sent me seeds, some things I got to plant, some things I did not. I want to multiply those seeds. That's what I'm working on um majorly. And I'm working with my family because they're planting different things over there and we're each saving the seeds so we can swap. There's no way that I can do this by myself, and some of y'all same thing. Work with your local community people that you are close to and you trust. They grow certain pumpkins, you grow different pumpkins, and you get as much seeds as you can and you guys swap and share the seeds with each other. That's how we have to do it. We cannot be doing all of it by ourselves. There's not enough time, energy. We have to work together. My neighbor is mostly kosher, but lives a container of my garden, something, a container of my garden greens and cornbread. Well, but loves a container of my greens and cornbread. That's good. My neighbor gave some of her crops to me the other day, and she and her husband, I let them come to the back. She's come to the back before, but the husband really hasn't. And they were looking at at the other my neighbor, and they were disgusted by the way the yard is kept, and he was very upset. And he saw what's going on, so she was eyeing my okra and stuff. But I'm sorry, honey, I'm not sharing that with you. No shade, but I planted 8 okra this year. I'm not getting the same production as in previous years. I share my food. Don't get me wrong, I do share, but I have to be honest. Now that I have chickens, they're getting the stuff. I'm not really just giving away food, not because I'm mean, but because I don't have the production this year. But the good thing is that she is growing food. She has a container garden and she saw the benefits of it and she's growing her food. Last year, not so much. She had a health issue, but this year she's recovered. She's doing well, growing her own food. Can you specify what about the strange labels? It's scary thing to hear. Okay. Yes, Demood, on the seed packages. Clay sandwiches. I don't know what I'm gonna eat, but you know, I'm not eating some of that canned stuff. I'm just telling you, I can eat it occasionally, but not the way how they're saying, oh, like, you can make this canned food in 50 million ways. You're not gonna live long enough to eat 50 million versions of that canned food. I'm telling you, straight up, you're not. I found seeded watermelons yesterday at Wally World. They were bad. I did the knock test and the other test. It was smaller, mushy in spots, and more expensive. Yeah, I bought a watermelon yesterday at Costco. It's not seeded, it's seedless, but it's a good size. My friend told me that there is a seeded watermelon bin at our local store, which I was shocked. So somebody is telling other people that people want seeded watermelons, because I have to usually go to Whole Foods, which never had them last year, but now they have them. And I had to go some other expensive store, pay $12 a watermelon. I paid $12 for the one at Costco, but that one is big. That half of watermelon is a regular watermelon. So I can make enough juice for 3 weeks with that one watermelon. But it's $12. But I don't mind paying for it because I'm not drinking juice. I'm not drinking Kool-Aid and all the other aids and all that kind of crap. I don't even know what's in that stuff. All the coloring and dyes, you know how toxic those are? Those are banned in most countries. Yellow number 5 and red number this and blue number that. The juice that you're drinking is not even colored that color. You know how toxic those chemicals are? We're not going there. They were radiating some of the packets. Oh, Lord. You know that's going to kill. Doesn't radiating kill? Mind you, they're radiating half of our food, right? That's imported into the country. That goes through the radiation process. I think I saw someone talking about that. I think it was Grow Family. And there's supposed to be some stickers on the pack on the food, but they don't always put the stickers on the food. But the food that you get is radiated, and that's killing the enzymes. So the living food is not living. And they know that you need living food. We're eating so much dead food and wondering why our body's not functioning properly. That's why younger doctors are better. Old doctors are stuck in their old beliefs. I like old doctors. I like a bit of both because those old doctors have seen some stuff and experienced some stuff. And depending on the old doctor, it usually with age, not always, usually comes some wisdom. And they have something to add to the table. And my doctors have always been of a certain nationality, and they do believe in eating healthy and food, and they understand that. If you're getting culture has a lot to play with it as well. But I do like older doctors. They have a level of wisdom and experience, and they've seen some stuff. So hopefully, what they've seen has given them a new perspective. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. They learn what they learned. They read the studies, and that's all they go off of what's in literature, and that's it. They don't deviate left or right. That's all they do. People like that in any field, stay far away from. They're not willing to learn. You have to always be learning, and there's no way that what you learned 20 years ago is still going to be relevant right now. That's unfortunate. Nothing worse than a bad watermelon. Yeah, that's nasty. But I had to give a bad one to my chickens. They loved it. It was kind of like it wasn't bad, but it was rancidy. Going back in the bushes. Okay, no problem, Miss Ellen Pankey. Let me see here. I have all the seeds I need. I made an investment in seeds, so I've been GT. Who you telling? We know you between you and Mike's Chaotic. There's no seeds left for nobody else. You have every seed. You guys clear off the shelves. I think Miss Renaissance is not too far behind you either. You guys clear off the shelves. I think you sold out um MI Gardner's site. You sold out the Baker Creek site. You sold out the other site. I think even Menard's got cleared up. You guys clear out the shelf. Nothing left for nobody else. But I don't blame you. Seeds are currency. Seeds are currency. The caduceus symbol actually comes from an old pagan god called As- Lord, Asclepius. Asclepius, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not gonna look at that, but it don't mean nothing good. I've been lately getting into symbols and what these symbols really mean, and we just are so used to seeing certain symbols that it's just become part and parcel of that industry. What's the history of that symbol? What does it mean? No money curing people. They make money in the treatments. Of course, they make money in the treatments. And it's all about kickbacks because some doctors have told me straight up the vacations that they go on with their family, not just the wife and the kids, are paid for by the pharmaceutical companies. They come in. I used to go to the doctor in the morning. I like to have the first appointment so that I can get in and leave. I would get there on time or even early, and the doctor wouldn't even be there yet. This is why you're always at the doctor and everything's just running late because they themselves don't get there till an hour late. And the first people in the office are the receptionist and usually two or three or maybe one pharmaceutical salesperson with their big old suitcase, rolly suitcase with the pamphlets and the flyers, and they want them to recommend this product to the patients to use for certain illnesses and stuff. And that's what they do. This is you. People want to talk against and trash talk drug dealers, but we are supporting the biggest drug dealers ever. Your pharmacist and your doctor are the biggest drug dealers. Don't get it twisted. And they don't tell you all the side effects, and they get you hooked just like the crackhead on the corner, the crack dealer on the corner. They're drug dealers, and they give the doctor a kickback for promoting their product and selling it, or sorry, prescribing it. Okay, don't get it twisted. So they're not there to help you. Even if they were there to help you, that's why you need to always get second and third opinions. Because some of these doctors and people in certain industries, because they work long and stressful jobs as long, especially when they're in the hospital setting, emergency care. A lot of these doctors are on chemicals themselves or liquid chemicals. They're addicted to certain things to keep them performing and keep them being able to do these long shifts and these long hours and go without sleep. And they're so competent in what they're doing, they think they can keep taking this stuff and it's not going to cause a problem. But they do make a lot of mistakes. So don't put all your faith and trust. If you get tested for something, ask for another opinion. Ask for another opinion. I've seen people who were took a scan and got diagnosed with something, and it wasn't that after all. They make a lot of mistakes. Get second and third opinions. That's all I gotta say. So true on the old versus new doctors and garden. Yeah, you have to. I respect the elderly. They have something to offer, but I agree. Like if they're set in their ways, no. I only speak from experience. Started in the medical field, and now I love my garden. The C word. Yep, the C word is the worst. And people have gotten big surgeries, mutilated their bodies, removed body parts because they were diagnosed with the C word. And then they found a whole expose in the hospitals here in two hospitals in Mississauga. One in Mississauga, one in downtown Toronto. Big expose, and they found so many women were misdiagnosed. They changed their whole life, went through all this treatment for oops, I made a mistake. Anyways, let me see what else is in the feed that I want to mention. Give me a second. Let me catch up with the chat. Hey, Nikki, good to see you. Get a second opinion. And a third, exactly. And you have to, hey, good morning, she said. I was listening to something this morning, Yaki Awakened. And sometimes I go back and I watch the videos again and again because you hear something different each time. It's hard to absorb everything on the first listen. So I listened back again and he said, you have to have a strong mindset. It's almost as if he didn't say this, I'm saying this part. You have to be in denial because if you accept what the doctor is telling you and you take on that negativity and that fear and that, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm going to give up, that goes right into your cells, and your body is now reacting to what you believe to be true. And your belief can affect your healing or your restorative process in your body, because the mind is a very powerful, hey lashes, very powerful thing. So it's like you have to almost listen as a third person, like they're talking about somebody else, and don't take it on yourself. And I heard that years ago in church. This preacher came, never forget him, he passed away now, and he said going to the doctor sometimes is like basically ending up in a pit of sewage, because the words that they're telling you are so poisonous and toxic to you that you can literally die just by accepting the diagnosis that they've told you. They're just a person working. They're not God, they're not divine, they're just a person telling you something. But you don't have to believe what they're telling you. And I'm not saying walk around in denial. This is a fine line. But sometimes you have to be in denial, because people sometimes put themselves in denial so that they can get through and find another solution and not allow their body to believe what they just heard. Because listen, the amount of mistakes these doctors make, and people sometimes, because they believe the diagnosis, they believe you've been given a death sentence, that's what actually makes them die or makes them the progression faster. There's people I know personally who were sick and didn't know it. Once they found out that they were sick, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, withered up, dry up, gone. When they didn't know and just were uncomfortable and in pain, they were going and living their life like nothing. Once they found out and believed the diagnosis, even though it was probably true, that's when they declined faster. There's something about the belief that we have that can negatively impact us or positively impact us. And none of the doctors are talking about nutrition. And even if they talk about nutrition, the food that we're getting is crap anyways, as we talked about. But let me go into Instagram. Somebody had something that caught my eye. All I have on my feed is chickens. All I watched now was chicken, chicken, chicken. So everything is chickens. Let me see what I say. There's a farmer that I follow on Instagram. And I I love his vibe. He's just a real down to earth person. And give me a second here. There's quite a few clips that I clipped, but okay. We talked about this before, but we'll talk about it again. A lot of you already know about the Appeal product that's coming out, or it's already out. Let me pause it so I can read what's on the. So they're putting it on the fruits and veggies. So I'm turning it down because I don't want copyright issues. But it contains a solvent, and the solvent is either heptane or ethyl acetate. That's what's on the Appeal coating that they're putting on fruits and veggies. There's supposed to be a label on the food. I know based on going onto the Appeal website, it tells you can put in your postal code or zip code, and it tells you what products have the Appeal and which of your local stores have it. So I said, okay, I put it in, and then it was like asking me questions. I'm like, are they tracking me? And whatever. So I did it anyways. Maybe they're tracking me, but whatever. And they're in the local stores: cucumbers, apples, and I think avocado. I'm not sure. There's three things that popped up. Cucumbers is what I eat regularly. So they're supposed to be labeling them. I'm not sure if that's always happening. I don't know how to resolve this. I guess we're gonna have to peel the skin off of our fruits and veggies. And as those of us who grow food understand that most of the nutrients is either right under the skin or even in the skin itself. So it's important when you're growing organically certain fruits and vegetables, you need to be eating the skin. But you can't with this peel because it can't be washed off or nothing. Um, and from what somebody said on another feed that I watch on Instagram, they mentioned the store that I go to, the bulk store that starts with C, which I won't say it for this sentence, even though I said it already in the live, that they've been doing it for a long time. The produce from there has been having a coating on it from before. I don't know this to be true. I don't know, but that's what somebody said. So now I'm giving a side eye because I get a lot of my stuff from that store because they have the best prices for organic produce in a bulk amount. So if you eat a lot of cucumbers, a lot of this, that, and the third, you can get some organic fruit, and it's more affordable than buying it from the regular store. But that's what they're saying, and they say it's safe. They say it's no harm. I'm not a scientist. I can't break down what the components are, but yeah, cucumbers on the dirty dozen. Everything's on the dirty dozen. Like the list is, since I've been checking that list, has been getting so much longer, and things that were not on the list are now on the list. All I can tell you is grow your own food, preserve your own food, and if you're buying food from the store, whether it's labeled or not, you have to assume that it has this coating on it, and you're going to have to peel off the skin. That's all I can tell you as much as possible. There is some fruit that we don't eat the skin anyways, like we don't eat avocado skin. I'm not sure, so hopefully some of y'all can start looking into it as well with me, and whoever finds out, we can share the information. I'm not sure if it leaches through the skin into the actual produce itself. I don't know. I'm curious to find out so that we can determine if we peel the skin, is that helping, or is that a no-go? We can't eat that produce at all. But they're putting a sticker on the food and thinking that the job is done. Half the time, there's only a few items in that bin that have a sticker on it. The rest don't have a sticker. And people remove the sticker, and the sticker has to be put on by either the distributor or the store. I'm not sure who puts the sticker on. The point is that they don't have to put the sticker on, and you wouldn't be the wiser. So we have to assume the worst and hope for the best. To get ready to fight the good fight. This is a fight. They're trying to poison us slowly in plain sight. Um, nope, they don't have our best interests. They don't give a crap. And it's here in Canada. I could tell you that for sure. Some of the main stores are on the list. They're on the list. And I don't know why you need to put a coating on an app. Like, I don't know what the point is. Apples last a long time in a crisper, in a cooler. This is just an excuse. And the stores and the owners of the stores and those people have the power to make decisions to say, no, we don't want this product. Our patrons don't want this product, but they're not doing that. So we have to take control ourselves. This makes me want to grow more. And if you can't grow more, as I said before, you go connect to some local farmers who can do it in a larger bulk, way, and support them, because if you support them, they can do more of this work and plant more trees, grow more produce, more fruit, more root crops that can last a long time in good cold storage, and they can do what they're still doing. You're going to have a local connection. Part of the problem, from what all the articles are pinpointing, is this globalism ideology, shipping food from Europe to supply over here our needs for wheat and grains. And no, you have to have a local source for your food system. You need to grow more food. You need to access people locally and work with them. CSAs, whatever groups they have, you need to connect with them. If you have an acreage and you have lots of land already and you're just sitting on it doing nothing, then you need to lease out some of the land. You can lease out some lots to people who are interested in coming to grow food. In the UK, I was talking to somebody in the UK, they have allotments. So you'll hear like Rambo Green Hands and AA gardening, I think she's um they have an allotment. And what that usually is that the houses in the UK are they don't have a big backyard. And then that's if they have grass. Sometimes it's just paved over with cement or like interlocking stone. They don't actually have any space to grow food. So they rent a spot, like quote unquote community garden style, and it's usually pretty large, and you grow your food there. You have to go there, check on your food, go and harvest your food. Like, you have to go there. So usually it's nearby. Sometimes it's not overly near. Like, you have to make an effort and drive there. I have some elderly family members here who have videos of my family in the UK that you kind of lose touch, but they're growing in an allotment, and their allotment is in the country. So they have to drive sometimes, maybe half an hour to an hour. And his mother that's what she's into. And they have a huge property, a space on the property, a huge portion, and they have it fenced off, and they even have like boxes over the beds to protect it from animals coming and eating off their food, because it can't be there every single day. They have water catchment. It's a whole thing. There are people who have to work twice as hard as some of us because they don't have the space on their land just to grow their own food. So if you are sitting on some property and you're not going to do nothing with it, parcel it up, and you can rent or lease it to people, and you can have stipulations like you don't want any synthetic fertilizers, or you can have a list of appropriate things that they can use if you're particular, so that they're not poisoning your land. And you tell them you can only use these products for pest control. You can only use these particular natural mixes and whatever you want to do. But you let somebody else come and benefit, because you can ask them to give you a portion of the crops and work something out. But let other people have an opportunity to grow some food, because there are people who are interested. That's what I can tell you. Yep, I'm looking for that. Um, yep, you gotta do what you gotta do. And with me getting grow tents and hydroponics, I need to start getting some backup power. That's what I need to work on. I don't have that in place, and that's a problem. She's in an apartment now. I'm sick about it, but I'm still, yeah, grow something and maybe find somebody in the area, Miss G Mama. There may be somebody who will say, yep, you can use this portion of my backyard and grow food. Like, you'll be surprised. Just watch and see what's happening in your new neighborhood and see where you can fit in and maybe benefit from somebody who doesn't mind you using, one guy, the same farmer I was watching, he finds empty lots, and sometimes he grows there, and sometimes he finds the owner, looks up whatever, and he finds the owner, asks them for permission, and they say no problem, because it's an empty lot anyways, and they have to pay to have it mowed and maintained to keep it from looking too bad. If you want to grow there, that saves them money, right? We have to sometimes find ingenious ways of doing things. So many people are asleep and do not want to wake up. They believe everything they are told and refuse to do their own research. Yep. Some people cannot be saved no matter what you tell them. For sure. Exactly. I'm gonna tell people, those who want to listen can listen, but I told people I ain't saving nobody but myself. If you think I'm saving you, I'm telling you so you can hear. You can't say that you didn't hear, nobody told you. But ultimately, I'm saving my own behind. You can do what you want with yours. But I will share the information. It's up to you. I'm not getting upset or frustrated. Oh my God, listen, I'm gonna care. I don't care either way. Your problem, not mine. Just don't make it my problem. Don't come to my door now trying to take and whatever, because you're gonna see another side of Urban that you're not gonna like. That's all I gotta say. We friends now, but we're not gonna be friends forever. Focus on growing what you actually eat. Stay away from growing things that don't grow in your zone. Exactly. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I know a lot of us like to grow. Right now, we're just experimenting, and I am one of those people growing different foods. I tried sorrel. Sorrel did well here, but I need to give it more of a proper climate in a grow tent. I push the envelope with certain things, no problem, but grow what you eat. Grow what you eat. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, don't grow it. And I like Brussels sprouts, but guess what? It took so long for me to get one Brussels. I think I got 5 Brussels, and they were the size of a grape. The Brussels didn't Brussels until after the winter. So I planted them in 2022, and I got Brussels sprouts spring of 2023. That's too long to get a harvest. And the man that I talked to here, that he goes to a farm, and the Brussels sprouts farmers don't cut the plant down. It keeps brustling over time. And because it takes so long for a plant to start producing, the plant is left there. I did not know that. So I don't have time to leave space for these plants to keep going. If I had a bigger property, by all means, you'd have a bed that's just Brussels sprouts, and you leave them there and they keep producing. And for them to start producing takes too much time. So collard greens, kale, cabbages, for me, are more suitable. If you have a lot of space and you can leave a section for Brussels sprouts, go right ahead. But if you're like me and you're every inch, square inch, it has to be used for production, you don't have time to be waiting 8 months to get like a handful of Brussels sprouts. Will I grow them again? Yeah. But me growing them will not be a priority crop. It will be more of a crop just to because, and it could be used as a trap crop for the aphids and for the animals. And I have no problem. They can. But I would have to try to find a species of Brussels sprouts that doesn't take so long, because literally all of 2022, the growing season that is, I'm waiting for it to come up. Nothing's happening. And then when it started happening, it was during the cold, harsh winter. So I had to cut. Girls, guys, Brussels sprouts is not on the list. But what I did learn, as I said, shared already, cabbage, collard greens, Brussels sprouts can tolerate a zone 5B, 6A winter. And I didn't cover them. So if I covered them, I covered them later on with some fleece, but I should have covered them with fleece and then the plastic to keep the snow off of the fabric so that it wouldn't stick to the plants. But no grow tent, no hoop house, no greenhouse, none of that. They can sustain cold weather. So you can grow. Just find out what is good for your zone. Take the time now. I'm telling everyone to experiment now. Don't experiment when things go left. Experiment. Hey, Fifi, good to see you. Experiment now. Do that. Nothing wrong with experimenting. It's good. It's good to be curious. But have a staple list of crops that you know I can grow. If things go left, I'm good at growing these 10 vegetables and these 10 fruits and at least 10 herbs. And herbs come back on their own every year if you put them in the right spot, in the right soil conditions and stuff. So my time has been coming back on its own every year. My lavender, I lost a few, but I have one that's just been going. and it's been a couple of years. I just planted lemon thyme outside. Sage came back every year, but when I put it in a pot, it didn't like the transplant. So I put a new batch in the ground. I'm going to put the other herbs in the garage over winter. That may mean I'm going to get gnats, but I already got the BT stuff for that to water them with. And my mint is doing good. Like I'm telling you guys, you can grow, but it's going to be a bit of work. Nothing good comes easy, right? They say if you want good, you know if you run, you know if you run. You want good in life, you got to put in some work. The food that we're getting in the stores has no nutrition. We know it, we see it. But we have to be willing to put some time in to grow what we need. And I think it was even Broke Farmer had a video of things that he's not going to grow anymore because it didn't taste good. He didn't like the taste. I am growing some of those same things myself. I'm like, what? White eggplant and some other species. So I'm going to grow it. I'm already growing it. I'm going to try it. If I don't like the taste, then guess what? That's not really high on my priority list. But I'm going to keep the seeds. And if something goes left and I have to grow something, at least I know I can grow the something. Um, Feed the Brussels to the chicken, especially the. Oh, they love. Girl, they love that. For those of you who are on my Instagram, I think I put it on YouTube too as well. The black swallowtail. It emerged from the chrysalid, and I almost missed it. He or she already emerged. So I'm gonna put the video of what it looked like, and then it almost drowned. Oh my god! But anyways, um, the first one is gone. When I checked the chrysalid, I didn't notice, but it's empty. The second one that was on my bean plant that you guys saw, crawling around the pot, taking a worm casting dump, and I've been watching it from worm to now. The chrysalid is empty, and I happen to be giving the chickens either giving them a snack or getting eggs, something to do with the chickens, and I was passing by to go into the house back to work. And I turned and I saw something to my corner of my eye. It was a butterfly sitting there living its best life, and it gets drying off or getting used to its wings. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful sight. Anyways, I'll put that short up soon. 'Cause I had to put the short up first of it in the chrysalid and how it looked, and then I'll show how it came out. But if you're not noticing what's happening in your garden, you can miss a lot. You're so busy working, planting, oh, bug, spray, that you're missing some of the beauty in your own garden. And that was like a lesson to me, like, wow, I'm going, and I almost missed what I've been waiting for weeks right in front of my eye. And I would have saw that it's empty and missed that this was the same butterfly. Beautiful. Then it almost drowned because and I didn't notice that. My sister came over to help me with something. And I said, "Oh, the butterfly is there." I took some pictures of it, some videos. Go take a look at it. She goes, "Oh, he's not there." I have a bucket underneath a part of the overhead deck area. There's a drip from the east trough, and if you leave a bucket there, you can get a bucket full of water in about 2 or 3 days. So free rainwater, right? I guess the butterfly was thirsty, went in the bucket to get water, can't get out, so it's just laying there. She happened to see it. I'm like, oh my god, it just emerged and now it got drowned. I took a hand shovel, fished it out. It wasn't dead. It shook off the water, dried off, and then we put it somewhere else away from the water. So, note to self: anybody who's like trying to get more pollinators into your garden. I know they sell little cups that are used for bees and stuff. Like it catches a couple of drops of rainwater, just 2 or 3 drops, and then the bees and the pollinators drink from that. That's what they need, because landing in a bucket of water and they can't get out is not ideal. So, and I noticed before there's been wasps and bees in there, but take notice of the smaller things, even though we're talking about what's in the news. There's beauty right in front of your eyes, but you're so busy. Oh my God, SFTF, it's the world's ending. Oh my God, that we're missing what's happening right in front of your face. So I'm happy with that. It came back. Now I got to figure out, is it coming back and laying more eggs? Because it was on my dill, like yesterday on my dill. Anyways, back to the chat. I don't have chickens, but I know people who do. Oh, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, they love the worms. I give them all that. That's why I planted this year nasturtiums my first time, because that's a good trap crop for the aphids. And let me tell you, one of the plants is full of eggs. I don't know what kind of eggs was on there, but it must have been that white moth, because all my brassicas are covered with mesh. So she's not too happy with me this year. She's like, "Ach, yep, you're not getting my cabbages this year. I put too much time into this garden." But the earwigs, oh my God, I'm at war with the earwigs. Anyways, the biggest thing I've noticed is that the bad weather across the US. I am 1.5 months behind, but I'm hearing that from everybody that has also, yep, definitely. Definitely. I'm getting some harvest now. My zucchinis are finally popping. I have some things that I didn't plant on time. That was my own fault. I have things still right here. I actually damaged 2 more pumpkin plants that I didn't. I bought them outside finally this week. I was gonna try. The wind hit it wrong. And it snapped. All that work gone. So I've dropped some more seeds, hopefully. But in general, I'm definitely behind. The herbs are fine. They are doing well. My eggplant behind. Tomatoes, I think, are behind in terms of the size of the plants. They're so small. All my hot peppers are small. The plants themselves are not even a foot tall, and they should be a lot bigger and bushier by now. My sweet potato must have been faulty. It was soaking in here in water for months. I finally got a root from it, no slips. I put it in the dirt outside. It's in a pot. I'm going to cut it up and throw it in the compost bin. Not one slip. That's not slow. That is something sprayed or something on that potato. Something don't make sense. Because I bought some potatoes that's in the kitchen and every one of them has eyes. I didn't even try to make eyes. The one that I've been trying for since February, not one slip has grown on that sweet potato. So something's going on with also some of this grocery store food. But the weather has been jacked up. I am getting a lot of rain and I'm finally getting something going on, but not nearly as before. So I'm going to be focusing a lot more right now, dropping some more seeds for fall crops, which is not really fall for me. It's pretty much straight up winter, but more cabbages, more kales. My dinosaur kale is looking real good because that mesh bag is keeping it living its best life, no holes. So but the earwigs are a problem this year because this is what we have to learn for some gardening talk. This is what I'm learning. Garden Gardening is really much permaculture. If you don't believe it, it is. You are just here to balance everything. You cannot be going in gardening and thinking I'm going to eliminate all the bugs that I don't like, all the bugs that are eating my food. That doesn't make sense. That's not even right. And what I did, I didn't spray chemicals, but I covered all the stuff with mesh. So now the worms can't get to it and other things cannot get to it. But at the same time now, I see an influx of earwigs. So you have to have balance in your garden. You cannot eliminate and eradicate everything. Your job is to provide balance. If there's too much of this, what do you need to balance the population of that bug? That includes intercropping as well to turn off bugs by the scents, by our onions and garlics and leeks. That means having trap crops as well. But you're here to provide balance and to mitigate attacks on your food. But we can't keep going. I'm going to eradicate this. I'm going to spray. That's part of the problem because if we're going to eradicate things, you're causing a constant imbalance in your garden, in your ecosystem, and it's never going to work and be in sync. We have to have balance. I swapped one pest for another pest, and I didn't use, hey, Demu. Okay, you're there.
Good
How you
morning.
doing, brother, man?
Man, I'm here, sis. I'm here.
I was asking him like Latches, where's D-Mood? I haven't seen him in weeks. Not even
You know,
anywhere. I was like, all right, I'm gonna look for him. And as soon as I said I'm gonna look for you, you popped up somewhere in somebody's live.
well, this is the second live I've been on. I went on Lashes' live, and now you. I
Mm-hmm.
just, took a step back. I mean, cause you know what, I got a life to live, and I'm trying to get my stuff done. I ain't got time,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been like frustrated and disappointed because the weather. I mean, and you know what? God gives us what He gives us. Now I know, and this is my tinfoil hat going on. I don't know if they're messing with the weather, but it's been ugly. And so I thought for a minute, I said, what am I not doing right? Because I'm like, I'm way too behind for me starting stuff indoors. And I started a lot of stuff indoors.
I hear
And
you. Yep,
I
me too.
typically put everything out in May. What I do is I wait for my last frost date. And 2 weeks after that, I start putting stuff out, which is usually the second week of May. Man, I put everything out. I'm going to tell you, Urban, I almost cried. All my stuff got frozen, got killed, or got
Yep.
stagnated. I mean, everything just went into like hibernation mode. And I just heard you talking about your garden. That's what I'm having. My peppers, the size of them are small.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about actually pepper, the plant,
The plant, yeah.
small. I mean, I just got stuff. Now I'm starting to see stuff, but the problem I'm having now is the reverse. It's too hot. So now I'm having sun scald. So I
Yep.
went from cold to now it's hot. But what I'm having, because Fifi called me, because she was like, "Where you been, bruh?" So she ended up calling me,
Mm-hmm.
and me and her kind of
Yeah,
we
'cause I'm
kind
like,
of
where's D Mood? I'm like, I haven't seen his hydroponic. I haven't got no updates. I don't know what's happening with the garage. God, what is going? But I hear you.
listen
It's discouraging. I was discouraged
right,
too. I am. I
and
was. Yeah.
and you know what? And I've been gardening successfully for the last 10 years, and I honestly got to say this is the worst year. But with a good note to a caveat, this is giving me an early start to my fall garden because
Right.
I'm just doing a lot of stuff that is slow growing. I'm reseeding, and I'm now starting to see them push up because the soil is warm. My issue now is my nights are cold as hell. For some reason, I'm
Yeah.
waking up and I got to put a coat on to go outside. I saw Fifi just did a video and she was outside in the coat, and I'm like, I feel her because we're waking up to low 60s in the mornings. This
Mm-hmm.
morning I woke up, it was 70, but then it's gonna get up to 98. I'm like, come on, man, you playing with me?
Something like it's not conspiracy. Something is going on, and people who don't grow food don't get it. It's like you're telling them, and they're like, they don't get because they don't plant nothing. They don't. They go to the store. They order their Uber Eats. They order their Instacart, and they drive home. They have no consciousness. I go, something's not right because I don't know about you all. I have a lot of container gardening, and something. My dad came over. He's like, see, tomatoes look dry. The plant is limp. I said, Dad, these are self-watering containers. It's not like it's a container, it's a self. Four of them have water in the reservoir. And you would think I didn't water I water the plant every day. It's not absorbing.
What
Something's going on because the soil, it could be the soil that I bought from the store. It's not sucking up the water. And the tomatoes I have to be out there in the mosquitoes getting eaten up water, 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 water. And it's raining at least twice a week. So how is the plant limp? I said, Dad, something not right.
like I said, I'm noticing a lot of stuff. Like you said, we have all been saying there's something going on. We can't see it. You just can't put your finger on it. But even in my family, I have my daughter, and I watch how she move, and I'm like, my son, he lives, he doesn't live here. He'll come over. He like, Dad, can you give me a pepper plant, a cucumber plant, and some lettuce? And I put it on my balcony. The light bulb went on in his head, but she's like, oh no, I'll get Uber Eats, I'll get this. I'm like, child, how could you live right beside me? I'm showing you what to do. That's why I wrote that statement that I did. There's people that
Mm-hmm.
don't want to wake up and don't want to be safe. And it reminds me of the movie The Matrix with that guy that said, I want to be put back in the Matrix. I don't want to know what's really
Yeah,
going on. I
yeah.
don't want to eat the slop. Literally, we have people that really don't care. I don't care if my food ain't nutritious. I don't care if this ain't that. I don't care if the sky's going to fall in. JB is going to tell me what to do. You know who JB is, right?
The
Yeah,
grandpa,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Mr. Dementia,
That's
Mr.
who JB
Dementia,
is.
because he ain't lucid.
If JB don't tell you, a lot of people don't believe it. And I'm like, and you know what? I don't waste my breath. And it was like when I was on Lashes' video, I said, sometimes people hear you talking, but they don't know the breadth and experience of your life, of what you've done in your life. Man, if I told some people that some of the places I've actually worked when I was professionally working, they and some of the stuff that I see now, they would just be like, "You're kidding me, right?" Yeah, some of the stuff is just crazy. Like what I was trying to say, and I'm gonna explain this because I guess somebody asked the stuff about the seed packaging.
Hmm.
The first place I heard it was Grow Family Network. I was watching one of his videos and he mentioned something
Yep.
about the seed
Yep.
packaging. And I didn't, I'm like, whatever. I blew it off. So I just happened to be in Lowe's the other day, looking for some stuff, and I grabbed up a package, and I noticed on the bottom of the package that this new thing had come, and I'm looking. So I bought it. I didn't need the seed, but I bought it because I had some old packages just to look at it. And sure enough, they got this new statement that says, "Just want to inform you that the seeds are radiated." I'm like, radiated? You done killed all the good stuff that's in it when you just nuked it. It's just like if you have a meal and you put it in the microwave.
The
If
microwave.
you if you're still microwaving your food, you've just killed all the nutrients in it. You're
But
just
question
shoving
though,
stuff in
let's
your
discuss
mouth.
this further. What is the reason to even radiate the seeds? Like what's their rationale? To kill bugs?
Okay,
Because there's no
so what they're doing, what the premise behind it, that they're saying is they don't want to transmit disease from place to place. That's what they're saying. Because what I didn't know, and I had to do some research myself, a lot of our seeds that we're buying from seed markets or whatever, they're not actually grown here in the United States. A lot of seeds
correct.
actually
Yeah.
come from South America or Africa. And what they do is they contract small farmers. And these people grow crops strictly for seeds, not for the crop, and then they give it to the U.S. They package it, and that's how it goes out. And I was like,
That's always happened.
okay,
So why now is disease a problem? Because usually what they do is depending on the seeds, they put them in a cold store, like they do other things. But now they want to default to radiation. Like,
yep.
and what's the result? I don't know if you read it up. Like, if you grow a plant that's been radiated seeds, is that plant
Well,
having any enzymes?
well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do it where they don't want you to recreate whatever they sold, especially stuff that you buy in the store now. If you've noticed, a lot of stuff like pineapple, they're pulling the
No,
stem out so you
tops
can't
off.
regrow
Yeah.
pineapple. If you're going and looking for sugarcane, they're cutting the nodules off. There's a lot of stuff that they're doing where they're limiting you replanting it yourself.
So basically, you're
So this is
saying that
why
this. Are you saying that the seeds that you buy that are radiated are basically one seed, like they're sterile, like you can't get seeds from that plant after
you get one and done.
one and done. So it's the
So
same.
that way,
That's exactly okay.
so that way
Mm,
you got to continually keep buying seeds. Because remember, before in the past, you could grow something and you could let it go to seeds and you save the seeds. But the
right.
way they're doing it now is they're like, well, they're not making any money by you saving seeds, reproducing it yourself. And what happened was they saw it during the pandemic,
Yep.
those periods of time, because I know like here where I'm at, they didn't allow you to buy seeds during it. They said that was an essential thing for you to buy. Imagine the government is telling you what you can and cannot buy.
Yeah. But
That
you can
wasn't
buy
essential.
liquor.
You could buy liquor. Matter of fact, to take
You
it a
can buy
step
liquor.
further, you could do Uber Eats and they would bring you the liquor. That's how wild it was. Now they have since, I don't know if they've rescinded it, but they have slowed it down where you can have delivery liquor. But yeah, I mean it's crazy. Um, but what are you gonna do? And my thing is, some of the things you just gotta play within whatever rules they got. Because if you keep trying to focus on their rules, you'll drive yourself crazy.
This is good information because we have been so focused on. I've been hearing everyone talk about, oh, GMO, don't buy no GMO because you can't. It's one and done. But now they found another way now to screw us over. Where because I was telling people this season, even just at the dollar store, the Dollar Tree and the Dollarama here, where you could always get certain seeds like kohlrabi. I haven't seen no kohlrabi at any of the stores. And I go to different locations. I don't see kohlrabi. So this is my first year letting it go to seed.
Hmm.
That's a
This is a
biennial. That doesn't seed every year. I have to make time and space for to let that go to seed, just so I can harvest those seeds. So some of y'all think, oh, okay, I can go get the dollar store. They always gonna have radish seeds. Those are always staples. No, I haven't seen them, and it may be just to my locality, but something's going on,
well
and
another
I'm
thing that
just making everything go to seed.
another thing that they're doing is they're trying to pigeonhole everybody into getting seeds from one seed production. If you notice, and when you go to the box stores now, you notice the seed manufacturers have changed. There's these no named entities that have showed up. You still have Baker Creek that you could order your seeds from and stuff like that, and different. But there's new things all of a sudden popping up that like, wait a minute, where'd you come from? And I don't have a suspicious mind. This is why I said what I said about grow what you eat, because what I did was I made sure, and I have a formula that I use. I cycle my seeds out every 3 years. So I
Mm-hmm.
test the viability during the winter time with the paper towel test after 3 years, and then I started cycling them out. So that means I'm gonna plant them in the fourth year, and then I'm gonna get rid of them, and then new seeds come. So that way, I'm always having fresh seed. Now, the rule of thumb supposedly is the seeds you save is good anywhere from 5 to 7 years if you did them right, if you
Right. If.
managed to do the things right. But because of how I've been doing it, I've been having a lot of success. Now I was so jealous. I sent a bunch of seeds across the country this year, and I did it
Mhm.
with intention. My intention is, God forbid, all of my seeds get destroyed. I know who I send seeds from to, and I could say, "Hey, can you send me some seeds?" It's kind of like with my callaloo. My callaloo crop for some reason went to crap, and Lashes was like, "Hey, mine is doing great. I'll send you seeds." Or
Mhm.
something I send Fifi. So what
Mhm.
I'm saying is, like you said before, you got to be in it with like-minded people and people you trust to move stuff around when stuff get like no. Because one of the things going on, and I notice in Africa right now, the Africans are having a big problem with Monsanto. So you don't hear nobody saying nothing about it. What Monsanto does with their seed is they put a genetic marker in all their seeds. Now you got to say, wait a minute,
Mhm.
why would you put a genetic marker in seeds that you're selling? Well, they have.
Mhm.
So what they're doing is now they're going back and they're like buying corn or whatever product from Africa, and then they test it, and if that product has their genetic marker, they were like, hey, you can't sell that crop because that's ours. You're like, what? But the Africans got one up on them though. The
Wickedness.
African
Wickedness.
the Africans have kept them seeds for generation. Like a village will have a certain seed, and in that village they just pass that seed down, pass that seed down. So, again, when they have money and they have courts behind them, they do, like you said, wicked stuff.
Mhm.
What is this? Must have my
They're
last
wicked. Like they want to control. They want to control the food from people, and our access to food.
Listen, we have laws getting passed that we don't even know about. There's a law I didn't even know this, and what I was thinking about myself, how significant is it? But here in Virginia, they just passed a law where now our state is literally a nanny state. They're governing that people can't watch porn. I mean, if that's your thing, and I had to, for research purposes, I had to go test it out. I went in and typed that thing in, and it came up
Yeah,
with a message
research.
and said, "Yeah, just for research purposes." I typed it in, and it came up and it says, "Hey, you're a resident of the state of Virginia, and you need to tell us every bit of information about yourself before you can access this site." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
They have time. They have time to monitor who's watching porn,
Ex-
but people's kids be going missing for
exactly.
years, and on the sex trade and on the slave trade, sex trafficking.
Listen,
But you got time to bother little old you watching some porn in your living room?
listen. Every time I go to Walmart, I don't know if I'm just the one. I, I had a habit when I was in the military. Whenever I went to a new unit or if I visit a unit, I would always look at their picture board, meaning you look at who the commander is, the sergeant major, the first sergeant, who's a soldier of the month, soldier of the week, stuff like that. So it was just a habit that was burnt into my head and blah blah blah. So every time I go to Walmart, Walmart has a picture board close to their bathroom, and on that picture board it says missing children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking to myself, if y'all got all this technology where y'all can shut down people watching porn in the entire state of Virginia, how come we ain't showing pictures of all these damn missing children that getting exploited?
Same
Tell
thing
me
I
that
said
one.
before. They're in on it. It's part of their big business. But if I dare say that out loud, they're gonna shut me, little old me down. But that's how they make their money. All of Hollywood, all of these things. Hold on. I'm gonna answer this call. Sorry. This might be important. But you guys continue. Hold on. I'm letting African up. Give me a second. I'm letting African up.
Oh, my brother from another mother.
Yep.
From
Give me
Texas.
1 second and I'll just take this call.
What's up, bruh?
What going on, D Mood? What's up, my sister? How y'all doing?
I'm here, man. I'm here. She's taking a car right now, so it's just me and you right now. You see how they do us?
Hey man, you came up. You
I just lost you.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, African was talking, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, y'all.
okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think he's probably his reception. Hold on. You can regrow the seeds you harvest and check vibe. Yep. Somebody said, I think Miss D said her seeds didn't germinate, but her package didn't say radiated. I'm having the same problem with some of my seeds, the new stuff that I'm buying.
Hey, you see what she said a few years ago? Monsanto said no food would be grown that they don't own or allow something like that. Yeah, I'm telling you, Monsanto went to war with several countries in Africa, and believe it or not, Urban, I had to explain that to somebody. They're like, but there's only one Africa. No, Africa is the continent. There are several countries in Africa.
Countries. Yeah.
And so I don't know which particular countries that were fighting with Monsanto, but they literally went to the World Court to battle over their right to grow crops from seeds that had been handed out for generation to generation simply because Monsanto said, well, we put a genetic marker on this seed and it's our seed. But guess what? They couldn't prove the origin of the seed, and the Africans could. That's how they end up winning.
All right,
And
It's crazy.
how
I'm back.
dare they? How dare they? How do you own something that you didn't create yourself? Like you modified something that was already here by God. You
Exactly.
modified something. You're not the original creator.
Yep.
Something doesn't
And
make
deal.
sense in this
And deal.
sauce. Go ahead, African. I can hear you, but you sound a little
So,
low.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Let me
Yeah,
turn my
go ahead.
volume.
You
Can
can
you hear
talk.
me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say, right as I was coming up, D Mood was making a point that I was making. And like the changes we done seen over almost 2 years here, like how when you go to it's a real distinction because you can see the difference and variation in like the locally grown and sourced fruits and vegetables that all have seeds, they all organic. But when you get imports, you got imports with very few people eat. Are actually almost, I would say like 80% of them are seedless. And pule sana upo kazini la Samuel.
Yeah, Mr. Garma can call
Ah,
us.
yeah.
African,
Ah, pule
African
sana.
talking that dialect.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I had a guy doing something for me, and I'm sorry about that, y'all. 80%
No
of
problem.
like the uh imports, fruits and vegetables, regardless of where they come from, they all seedless. But the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's grown here, all of it's got seeds, all of it's organic, and I'm starting to see it be more and more and more prominent. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to fix it, but D Mood just went into the whole conversation that I wanted to have because it's becoming more and more prominent here. And I don't know how it's gonna go because at least in my area, I can only speak for the country that I'm in and the people around me. Don't nobody want that. People are completely comfortable with just the regular avocados, the regular stuff corn that we grow here. No sweet corn really grows organically here, and it's I don't know, but this is a hell of a conversation, fam.
The one continent or country, because people think it's a country, but the continent of Africa was one of the few places that people's health was in such good condition that the 2020 didn't really phase them. And they didn't have any
Right.
advanced medical systems, and it was the food that
Facts.
they eat. And they've been trying to
Yep.
contaminate Africa since before we were all born. They can't kill them off fast enough. They can't, they're trying to control them. And the one linchpin is their nutrition. And they're finally trying to attack their nutrition by controlling what they can grow and where they can, how they can sell it. And they've stopped many countries, even when Clinton was in power, from exporting certain goods to make things economical and fair. And they've basically bankrupt some of these countries and islands because they couldn't compete.
Yeah.
So how can a country feed themselves if they can't export and give us access to those better products? It's all part and parcel of who has the money, who wants to control, who gets the money. And
I, I,
Africa's food
Yep.
system is very strong. They feed themselves.
I will tell you, back in the '90s, when I used to work for the Army Institute of Research and Development Command, I'm giving you partial titles. I'm not trying to tell you
Yeah,
a whole
be
bunch.
vague. You got to be vague. Yeah.
And when they asked me if I wanted to go to either Kenya or Nigeria because we had biological facilities that we had there, I was shocked. But then I wasn't surprised because a lot of stuff that we do outside the U.S. for the U.S. But what has happened is we've had African leaders that have finally found their nuts, stepped up, and kicked us the hell out their country. And we, the Americans, have quietly left. Quietly. This is why we stood up AFRICOM, because we were trying to get a foothold back into Africa. Because we used to be there. I'm talking about this is when in the '90s we had whole bases in Africa that a lot of people didn't know about. But because of some of the nonsense we was over there doing, and we were trying to still be colonizers, the Africans finally said, you know what? Enough of taking the American dollar. We really care more about our people. Let's push these people out of here. And they did it. It took a while, but they did it. I mean, we caused enough chaos over there, but they got us up out of there. And, they're better for it. What do I mean by that? When the Ebola crisis hit, remember that? That was about 4 or 5 years ago when it
Mhm.
supposedly hit in Atlanta and Texas. Those were the two areas that it really hit. What was significant about Atlanta was that's where the CDC was, but they couldn't do nothing. Supposed to be the world leaders, right?
Mhm.
Lowly Africa fixed the Ebola crisis. You know what Africans simply did? Hygiene. They washed everything. They cleaned everything. They burned everything. Now, what did we do over here? We had all these experimental drugs that it was sticking people. Remember that nurse? I think she was from Houston, the one that got
Yep.
the Ebola, and they had her in the little oxygen tank that they brought her to the CDC, and they were giving her
Yep.
all kind of experimental drugs, and they end up having to wash her blood and all this stuff. Man, the Africans are like, look, just hygiene, burn everything that's around her, let her wash her, and you can fix it. And guess what? They fixed it in Africa. And I'll never forget because I remember Bill Gates was trying to send them drugs. Here's drugs on me, it's free. Give it to your people.
Yep.
And the Africans was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yep.
Because
Your help comes with too many
think
strings.
about it. You haven't heard about any more outbreaks of Ebola in Africa. You notice that?
No. Nope, none.
But they
And they
scare
were
us.
hoping it would behave like how COVID behaved, but it didn't. So they couldn't, do that agenda then.
But they
So they
scare
did
us
in
as
2020.
black people. to not go to Africa. Like African dreaming is over there living. But the stuff you hear, I've tried to go to Africa a couple times, and the U.S. The State Department puts you through so many changes. Oh, you have to take all these shots. You need to do
Yep.
this. You need to do that. Oh, we need to make sure you have this before you can go. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do all this. That's fine. But is everything you're doing to me, is it actually going on in Africa? No, 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 no. This is just preventive medicine. It's the same thing with Mexico. If you're going to Mexico, they want you to take all these prophylactics. They want you to do this. And then when you ask them the simple question like, is this going on right now in Mexico? Oh, no, 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 no. This is just for your protection. So what you're telling me is you're going to infect me with a live virus so that I can develop antibodies. And then I'm going to go over there and be in contact with people that don't have none of this stuff. And I'm a walking carrier now. It makes no, I guess because of my background. Yeah, because of my background being what I used to do. When folks tell me stuff like that, I'd be like, but that doesn't make any
Make
sense.
this sense. Yeah.
Right,
But
right.
I know for a fact. Well, I'm not gonna say no for a fact. They were experimenting in Africa all this time. That whole HIV outbreak and epidemic going on. I'm thinking, and they're making it. Listen, that was manufactured. You can't tell me no different. You can't tell me no different.
Yeah, it's
I don't
I have a problem understanding its origins, at least from the natural world. But I'll say this: as somebody who's been over here for the time that we've been over here, uh, I've seen some of the changes. I've seen two things prominently. I've seen a lot of adaptation in West culture, from younger and older generations, and then I've seen a resistance, uh, to the adaptation of outside cultures, and people really want to hold true to how they've done it for long periods of time. And back to the I think Urban, I sent you a screen grab because my mistake. I should have completely, and it may still be archived somewhere. That whole article that I sent you,
Mm-hmm.
um about something that was said, it's almost been completely scrubbed from the internet. You can't find it. I still had the author's name from that editorial. And 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, this was like, it was never really on the radar, but like she said, Africa was thriving. So much stuff is outdoors, whether it be Ebola, whether it be other illnesses or viruses, some adaptations in hygiene pretty much fixed everything. Life here across the continent it has a prominence of communal and collective. I've never been to Jamaica. I desire to go. It's on my bucket list. It's a lot of Caribbean islands I haven't been to yet, so I don't know how collective sharing food is over there. But literally, everybody will wash their hands with soap or water, and you will have 3 4 people, a family, eating off the same plate, sharing the same dish. April and myself, even like we didn't even realize we were doing it till one day we started laughing because it went from 2 plates with two this and two, and now everything is just one. And now instinctively when we make dinner or lunch, whatever, it's usually it's one plate. We just share. And some adaptations in hygiene kind of fixed a whole lot of issues that were happening. But I can't help but agree with Urban in the sense that certain things, the way they happen, the way that these illnesses seem to attack a whole communal style of living, you got to ask, is it deliberate? And if so, to what degree? So it's a lot going on, family. A lot, for real. Even back to the seeds.
Yeah, for
know.
sure. I didn't know they were radiating the seeds. I know I saw Grow Family talking about the fruit because he was in a store showing the stickers on the fruit. And I know that they radiate the food that comes in, but the seeds now, that's a whole other layer. So that's why it's so important that when you guys are harvesting your seeds and we're swapping amongst ourselves, we need our own underground. But probably they're pulling someone sent me seeds. I haven't seen them yet. It's been months. I got D moods and other people's seeds, but they must have stopped that package, and who knows? all those seeds are gone. But us swapping seeds amongst ourselves is the best thing that we can do
Yeah,
until they stop it. So
I agree.
keep passing around the seeds and swapping, and ask for what you need now. Don't be hesitating. And those who have people in the islands bringing back stuff, let them bring back the stuff. I keep asking for whatever seeds they can get, bring it. I don't care what it is, because somebody
Yeah,
might need it over here. Just bring the seeds.
and you know what they're doing now is like I know definitely coming from Jamaica because I mean I have people go to Jamaica and I ask for seeds from the soil from Jamaica. And what they're doing now,
Mhm.
immigration, they're stopping them. They're taking their seed and right in front of them, throwing it in the trash. Talk about, hey, we don't want you to bring pests. That's what they
They've
say.
never been allowed. You got to put them in other things. That's all I got to say.
Exactly.
And
So
if you're a lady and have lady products, you shove them in between the lady products.
yeah,
Allegedly. That's what I've
allegedly,
been doing. And I haven't got yet.
Allegedly.
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 You put
But,
them in the same way how the crack dealers and all them things used to do some things. That's how you got to go on with them seeds. And I'm not even joking.
Ah,
I brought
I
back
don't know
some
what
seeds and I
urban.
had to put them in some
Oh,
innocuous places.
but you know what's weird? Obi? You can get viable good seeds from a reliable source, but then they will sell you crap ass seeds and it won't be a problem. They send it to you through the mail.
Exactly. I want it directly from like give me the pep when I'm down there. They give me the fruit and I take out the seeds myself and dry them myself and then bring them back. But I don't
Exactly.
want no somebody ask somebody something. No,
yeah.
because I know how important these seeds are, and I don't even care.
Yeah.
And I'll put them in some
And that's
and be
something
like, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. Let me pack my own
something
bag.
else
I
you
don't have to
said,
pack bag. Go
Urban,
ahead.
you
Sorry.
hit oh no, I'm sorry, you hit something on the head earlier when you said about the taking for granted. You said that
Mhm.
pombe nane karibu pabu. Ay, something something. When you said don't take that for granted, like that you can just walk in your uh uh dollar store or Dollar Tree
Mm-hmm.
or Walmart, and you just gonna always see all these seeds. I think I think you're doing yourself a disservice living under the assumption that all of this stuff just gonna be readily available. I don't think it's gonna always be readily available. I
No.
mean, think 3 years from now, 2 years from now. Uh, I forget what you said. Maybe you said radish or something like that.
Yeah, radish and kohlrabi.
Stuff.
I haven't seen them. And I'm gonna end in
Yeah.
10 minutes, guys, because I have to go have a shower and get up. But yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think you spot on, man. This is a great conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and step down, but I think
No
you really
problem.
hitting on something, fam. Great convo as usual, but please, please don't take what's available in the moment as something that's gonna be a forever circumstance, because
No.
uh that level of comfort can make you miss out on stuff you might want to get your hands on while you got access to it. But much love, D Mood.
Yeah,
Much love,
much
my
love.
sister. Thank you for letting me come up. And I'm gonna fall back in the
Not a
bushes.
problem.
Take care, my
All
All
right,
brother.
right.
fam. All right.
I'm
Yeah,
showing you.
we
Let me show you
go
how
ahead,
stupid
Timo.
they getting here.
Hmm.
There's there's states in the U.S. that they're trying to regulate you saving rainwater.
They have been doing that. They ain't stopping me.
It
You
ain't. I mean,
you want to put me in jail with the pedophiles? Go right ahead. You ain't stopping me. I said screw you and your foolishness.
we don't have it here, but but you know what? Normally, certain states are test states, and then once you see take off in that state, it takes off in other states. But
Right, right.
it's we're living in interesting times, and one of the things I always,
So Jackson, Mississippi, where they don't even provide them decent water, they still got to pay their water bill. They can't collect rainwater.
that's crazy. But
There'll be a lot of FUs coming out of my vocabulary because you ain't gonna give me crappy rainwater, and I gotta sorry tap water, and I gotta still pay my water bill. Or you're gonna cut off my service, and I can't collect rainwater.
yeah,
Listen, people, rise up, rise up.
at the end of the day, you do what's within your 10-meter zone, 10 meters to the north, south, east, west, and focus on that and your family. And you can't worry about what's going on a half a mile down the street from you because you can't.
No.
So
Yeah.
if you focus on the circle around you and pull the people in that's close to you, I thank God I have the wife I have. She is 10 toes down, team player, helpmate. I mean, I can't go wrong. She out there slugging it out with me. Even with me and my bad back, and she complained like, "Don't go out there." You know what? At the end of the day, like I said, I proved to her all the stuff that I was doing over all the years we've been married. When this so-called thing hit, we literally did not leave our house for 9 months, and we were sustained. We didn't have to go to the store, none of it.
Mm-hmm.
Until I heard my neighbor say, "You know, you're not supposed to be in your backyard. You know, the state say you're supposed to be in your house." I'm like, "You better get the fuck off my property." I
Yeah.
know
You know
that.
what, lady? Do you want to see tomorrow? Because I suggest you shut your damn mouth. That's what it's gonna come to.
Yeah,
How
I
how
mean,
how this is the problem I'm having with this whole last 3 years. Stupid people and their stupid ideology. I'm in my backyard picking my nose, pulling out my own damn wedgie, minding my own business. And you're telling me about the state and the rules and the government? I'm not
to
breaking no laws. I'm not taking no one's child. I'm not stealing no one's property. I'm not killing nobody's dog. I'm just getting
but
outside
see,
some fresh air. But people like to rat people out.
and now I was just about to say that the biggest censor that the government has ever used is your neighbor. Your
Your neighbor.
neighbor watches you like a hawk, like no government agency could watch you. Even here in my neighborhood, throughout all the houses in here, they have the ring mafia. I remember they put a thing in
Oh,
my
like the doorbells?
Yeah, they had a thing they put in my doorbell that says join the community of ring watchers. I'm like, what the hell
No,
is ring
son.
watchers? All these houses have rings bells and they're all pointed to the street and they're all interlocking. And what happened was me and my neighbor, the one to the left and the one in front of me, we didn't have it. So they were like, well, we would like to for you to join. The problem I have with it is it might be a good tool. The problem is it's used by other people to surveil you. So a pedophile could tap
Correct.
in and he could be looking at what
Yep.
your kids are doing, your wife is doing, what you're doing. It leaves, and you know what? Everything is dangerous, but when you intentionally let people in your life, that's on you.
That's on exactly. I ain't intentionally letting nobody over here.
I'm not
And the
saying
best thing to do
I'm
is
not,
know your neighbor. The best thing
but
I learned right
what
now
I'm
is to
saying
know
is
your
this,
neighbor.
Urban.
Because if you're
What I'm saying is
strangers,
this.
that's the problem.
What I'm saying is this, Urban. You can have cameras, but you don't have to have them
Mhm.
interlocked and interconnected. Like
No, no.
you can have cameras that go to just your phone that nobody else can hack.
Your
You
hard
can
drive,
encrypt
your
it.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So around
When they're
my
connected,
property,
that means your data is going to the common cloud or the common data, whatever it is. And then people
listen,
get sloppy, don't realize that they're all the cameras are connected to this common cloud, and people have
this
cameras
is,
in there. So that's why I don't want nothing. No, I'm my own independent property. You don't pay the mortgage here. If you want the footage, you come to me for the footage. If something was on my camera that would help your case, but I'm not connecting nothing.
I'm getting ready to
Not
get
doing
up, but
it.
I'm gonna leave you with I'm gonna get up, but I'm gonna leave you with this. My next door neighbor, this is how I know technology is good and bad. He has a pacemaker that he put because he has an irregular heartbeat. Unbeknownst to him, his thing is connected Wi-Fi.
Lord have
So,
mercy. Lord have mercy.
so
Lord have mercy.
his
Jesus.
doctor wanted to run a test to make sure the thing was working. What they didn't do, they didn't tell him they were going to run a test because hey, it's Wi-Fi. We can do it without you knowing. Yada 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 yada. So what they did, because he had never got the shock, they sent him an electric volt to his heart because that's what the pacemaker does. If your heart
Yeah.
is out of rhythm, it shocks you back into
Fucking
rhythm.
rhythm. Yeah.
Well, his heart was not a rhythm, and they were doing a test, and they shocked him. And what happened is he has the bracelet that sends the alert, the like the Amber Alert thing. So when they shocked him, it caused his heart to defibrillate. So it caused him to start going into arrest. So the Amber Alert triggered. So now the hospital is calling him, the paramedics are calling him. He passed out on the floor. His wife running next door. She knocking on my door. My husband's down. So we finally figured out call is His doctors were doing a test of his equipment and had literally sent him a test and shocked his heart, almost killed him. Because it's like you were saying earlier, your mind is a good weapon and a bad weapon. If you're thinking you can die, you'll probably kill you. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he got that shock, because he had never felt that before, he thought he was dying. He thought he was having a heart attack. So, needless to say, the paramedics came. They gave him a once over and blah blah blah. They said, "Oh, it was just a mild shot." Blah blah blah. Mild, dude, you playing with my
Mild.
life. But again, it goes back to what I'm saying. Everything is getting connected now. We have all this AI,
Yep.
all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff is connected. And I don't know what the goal is. I mean, our vice president let it slip yesterday. I don't know if it was a
Freudian slip.
fraudulent slip or whatever, but she said the goal is to get rid of some of the population. I don't know. The, con- the conspiracy theories are
They
going
keep
crazy on
outing
the internet.
themselves and we keep not believing them. They keep outing themselves and we act like we didn't hear what we heard. We heard this
She
before.
said, listen, she said the population is too large. We need to get rid of some people. When I heard that, I was like, that got to be a mistake. She might have meant it's the population is polluted. I'm like, I try to
No,
give her the benefit of
she
the doubt
said
because
what
I
she
know she
said.
got, but
She said
I
what
figured
she
I
said.
know who. Hey, look, I know who I'm dealing with. Well, hell, JB just said something the other day. He just came out and said some stuff that I was like, what the hell? When he telling the whole world that we out of ammunition and we don't have this and we don't that, that ain't something you tell you just telling the whole world that the
That you
350 some million of us are undefended. Are you kidding me?
undefended.
Because
Yeah.
that's a lie. The government may not have ammo, but
But
people got
we
ammo.
got plenty. Well, I don't, but I'm getting we got plenty. We okay over here.
All right, sis. Hey, thanks for letting me up. I just wanted to come up and chop the
No
stuff up with
problem. Good
you.
to see you.
All
Don't
right,
stay
take
away too
care.
long.
All right now.
Guys, just get ready. That's all I gotta say. I'm wrapping it up because I gotta have a shower and get ready on time because these people are gonna leave me. Get yourself ready. We see what's happening there, and there's one more thing I want to quickly mention. We probably talk about that next week. Um, the beaches in Texas. We talked about that, which led to this whole conversation. But what else happened? Ugh. Oh, there was an issue which we already kind of heard of, but they had released those GMO mosquitoes in Texas and somewhere else. I can't remember. There was Florida, and I think it's Texas. Don't quote me on that. But two particular states had these mosquitoes that were released that were supposed to help. Those mosquitoes are well, it's not been proven, or they haven't, causation is not correlation, what they say, but there's a outbreaks or pop-ups of malaria in those two particular states. So keep your eye on that. And she ain't lying. Yep, she wasn't lying. She said what she said. We have to come to a point where we have to stop believing. There's a lot of people in the world, but nothing's overpopulated. The world will balance itself out. Everything in nature balances itself out. People, there'll be natural disasters, there'll be plagues, and all the different things that happen that will diminish the weak and the strong will survive. But it seems like humanity wants to put matters into their own hands and take care of that themselves. We don't need anybody's help. There's enough food for all of us if some of us would stop wasting the food and some of us would stop overeating. And to be honest, there's enough food for all of us. There is enough. But some of us have way too much food. We waste food. There's too many regulations about quotas and what you can ship and can't ship that is preventing people from getting access to food. But there's lots of food. So read between the lines. And I think Psalms had already left, but Psalms, you had mentioned you're going to buy shavings from the pet store. I don't know if they have the best price. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but definitely check the animal feed stores for your shavings. I find the price is way better than the pet store over here. That may be the case for you as well. Like, so your Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, any feed store for bulk animal supplies, try that instead. But grow your food, get your seeds, swap your seeds, let your stuff go bad. to seed and harvest your seeds. All your herbs, let them go to seed, harvest what you can. Hey, executive sessions, and get your seeds and then keep planting again. And people who aren't listening and aren't keeping up, you can't save everybody. That's all I got to say. You don't got time to be dragging people behind you. They can come willingly and come along, but you got to keep it moving. That's what it's come down to. The seeds are being radiated. I want to check my seeds and see what they say. I've been trying to buy more heirloom seeds, but if they're radiating the seeds, that means okay. Is Petco have a good price, Sam? Just check, because I find it better. I can get a bigger bag at the animal feed store, and it's about $5 to $7 for a big old bag, and that bag lasts me a long time. Mind you, I use sand and cat litter, non-clumping, non-chemical adding, just clay cat litter in one of the areas, but we can talk about that next week. But yeah, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep your eyes open, keep your head on swivel, and you may have to play dumb to get along, but doesn't mean that you're actually dumb. Someone's got to be playing dumb in these streets. Don't let them know how smart you really are. As the Jamaican proverb said, you have to turn fool for catch wise. You got to play dumb to outsmart the wise people. So keep your eyes open, keep your head on swivel, watch what you're buying from the store, look for the labelings. If you see something, take a picture and you post it and let people know what's going on in your local area. All right. God bless. Drop your hashtag urban to drop your link. I'll keep it running for a few minutes more, but I got to go get ready and be out the door. Thanks for coming in. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share.